The massive fleet of the Galactic Dominion appeared at the edge of the Sol system without warning. Over 200 warships hung in the void, their metallic hulls gleaming against the backdrop of distant stars. Each vessel bristled with weapons capable of reducing entire continents to ash. They arranged themselves in a perfect attack formation, a display of power meant to intimidate. Admiral Tark stood on the command bridge of the flagship Eternal Conquest *, his 4 eyes scanning the tactical displays with cold confidence. His gray skin had the texture of weathered stone, marked with the ceremonial scars of countless successful conquests. For 3 centuries, he had brought hundreds of primitive worlds under Dominion control. This mission would be no different. Scan complete. Admiral reported his second-in-command. The humans possess limited orbital defenses. Their warships are primitive and few. They have colonized only their moon and the 4th planet. Tark clicked his mandibles in satisfaction. As expected, they are confined to a single star system. Prepare the standard communication package. The Dominion had conquered 1,000 worlds over 10,000 years. The procedure never varied. Arrive with overwhelming force, demand immediate surrender, accept the new client race into the Empire as servants. Species that resisted were simply eliminated, their planets repopulated with loyal Dominion colonists. Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from the 3rd planet, announced the communications officer. Display it, Tark ordered, settling into his command chair. The view screen flickered to life, showing a human male in a simple blue uniform. He had dark skin, short black hair, and remarkably calm eyes for a being about to face extinction. "This is Commander Jack Wilson of Earth Defense Force," the human stated. "Your fleet has entered restricted space without authorization. We request your immediate withdrawal." Tark allowed a brief moment of surprise to pass through him. Most species reacted with panic or immediate offers of surrender when facing the Dominion fleet. This calm assertion of authority was unusual. "I am Admiral Tark of the Galactic Dominion," he responded. "Your species is unknown to our empire. We have come to offer you the opportunity to join our civilization as a client race. Your technology will be upgraded. Your population will serve the greater good of the Dominion. This is not a request." The human's expression didn't change. "Admiral, we have studied your approach to other worlds. We understand your intentions. However, I must inform you that humans do not surrender to threats." Tark leaned forward. "Perhaps you fail to understand your situation. We possess the capability to sterilize your entire planet within hours. Many species have made declarations of defiance. All have fallen." For the first time, the human smiled slightly. It was not a smile of fear or submission. It was the smile of someone who knew something his opponent didn't. "Admiral, the Dominion has conquered many worlds, but you have never fought humans before. We strongly advise you to withdraw your fleet immediately." "And if we refuse?" Tark asked, mandibles clicking with amusement. The human's voice remained perfectly level. "Then we cannot guarantee your safety. What follows will be remembered as the greatest mistake in Dominion history." Tark glanced at his officers, who shared looks of confusion mixed with contempt. The arrogance of this primitive species was remarkable. "You have 1 planetary rotation to surrender," Tark stated. "After that, we will demonstrate our power on one of your population centers." "I understand," the human replied. "But before you make your decision, you should know that we've already transmitted detailed information about your fleet's vulnerabilities to our defense network. We've been watching your approach for weeks." The human paused, then added, "This is not a war you want to start. Admiral, we're giving you 1 chance. Run." The transmission ended, leaving the bridge in silence. "Prepare the first strike package," Tark ordered after a moment. "We'll target their largest military installation." None of the Dominion officers noticed the small, stealthed objects already moving toward their fleet from multiple directions. The humans had started their response before the conversation even began. The Dominion command ship buzzed with activity as officers prepared for the conquest of Earth. Admiral Tark reviewed holographic displays of the planet, marking primary targets for the first wave of attacks. Their standard protocol was simple and effective. Destroy military command centers, then systematically eliminate resistance until surrender. "Sir, we're receiving another transmission from Earth," announced the communications officer. Tark sighed. "More pleas for mercy already." "Display it." The screen flickered to show not Commander Wilson, but an older human female with silver hair tied back neatly. She wore no uniform, only simple civilian clothes. "I am Professor Linda Reeves, Earth Diplomatic Corps," she said. "I request a formal discussion before any hostilities begin." Tark considered refusing but decided a brief delay would make no difference to the inevitable outcome. "Proceed." "Admiral, we wish to share information about humanity that may influence your decisions," she said. Her tone was not pleading but matter-of-fact. "We believe you're operating with incomplete data." "Enlighten me," Tark replied with thinly veiled boredom. The screen changed to show images that confused the Dominion officers. Humans fighting humans in various settings throughout their history. Battles in forests, deserts, cities, oceans, and mountains. Weapons changing and evolving rapidly across the timeline. Humanity has spent most of its history fighting itself, Professor Reeves explained. Unlike your empire, which expanded peacefully for thousands of years before developing military doctrine, warfare is embedded in human DNA. More images appeared. Human soldiers adapting to different environments, fighting in extreme cold, unbearable heat, underwater, even in space. In the last 500 years alone, we developed and refined more weapons and tactics than your empire has in 5,000 years, she continued. We've mastered asymmetric warfare, guerrilla tactics, psychological operations, and adaptive response. Lieutenant Mox, Tark's intelligence officer, leaned close to the admiral. "Sir, I've analyzed their transmissions. They appear to be telling the truth about their military history. It's unusual." On screen, Professor Reeves continued her presentation. "Your empire conquers through overwhelming force against enemies who fight conventionally. But humans don't fight conventionally, Admiral. We adapt. We find weaknesses. We exploit them ruthlessly." The screen displayed human special forces training, showing soldiers surviving in harsh conditions with minimal equipment. "We don't need massive fleets to be effective," she explained. "Small teams of humans have toppled entire governments throughout our history." Tark finally interrupted. "These displays of your internal conflicts are irrelevant. No species has successfully resisted the Dominion. That's because you've never encountered a species that evolved specifically to fight," Professor Reeves replied calmly. "Every other race you've conquered developed space travel, then military capability. Humans developed military capability, then space travel. The difference is fundamental." The display changed to show Earth's orbital defense systems, modest compared to the Dominion fleet, but arranged in unusual patterns. "Your tactical computers are analyzing our defenses based on your military doctrine," she said. "But we don't follow your doctrine. Our defenses are designed to counter attacks you haven't even considered making." Lieutenant Mox spoke up again. "Sir, our scans are detecting unusual energy signatures from their defense platforms. They don't match any weapon systems in our database." Professor Reeves seemed to hear this. "We're not showing you everything, Admiral. Just enough to make our point. Humanity isn't interested in joining your empire. We're offering a simple choice. Leave our system in peace, or experience warfare unlike anything in your history." Tark's mandibles clicked in irritation. "Your species has never left its home system. You expect me to believe you can challenge an empire that spans thousands of worlds." "We never needed to leave our system to become masters of war," Professor Reeves answered. "And yes, that's exactly what we expect you to believe. Because it's true." The transmission ended, leaving the Dominion officers in uncomfortable silence. "They're bluffing," Tark finally said. "Prepare the attack as planned." In the ship's intelligence center, Lieutenant Mox continued analyzing the human transmissions with growing concern. Something about their confidence disturbed him deeply. The humans weren't behaving like a species facing extinction. They were behaving like predators waiting for prey to make a mistake. Admiral Tark stood confidently as he gave the order. Begin the attack. Target their largest military base. Show them the power of the Dominion. The massive warship Eternal Conquest moved into position, its weapons systems charging. Behind it, 50 support vessels arranged themselves in attack formation. Energy readings climbed as the main cannon prepared to fire. Weapon at full charge, Admiral, reported the weapons officer. Fire, Tark commanded. A brilliant beam of energy lanced from the ship toward Earth, aimed at the North American Military Command Center. The bridge crew watched with satisfaction as the beam cut through the atmosphere. Then something unexpected happened. The beam struck what appeared to be empty air 20 miles above the target and dissipated completely. The previously invisible shield flickered briefly, absorbing the massive energy discharge. Impossible, Tark whispered. Scan that area. What technology are they using? Before his crew could respond, alarms blared across the bridge. Sir, multiple small objects approaching from Earth, shouted the sensor officer. They're moving too fast for our targeting systems. On the tactical display, hundreds of tiny projectiles rocketed toward the Dominion fleet. They were barely larger than escape pods, showing minimal energy signatures. Defensive measures, Tark ordered. All ships, evasive action. The fleet's automated defense systems activated, firing energy beams to intercept the incoming objects. Some were destroyed, exploding into clouds of metal fragments. But most continued on course, too small and too fast to hit effectively. The objects slammed into dozens of Dominion ships simultaneously. Instead of exploding, they attached to the hulls like parasites. Minimal damage reported, Admiral, said the damage control officer with relief. They appear to be attaching to our ships. What purpose could that serve? Tark wondered aloud. He received his answer moments later. Sir, we're detecting intrusions in our computer systems, cried the technology officer. Something is bypassing our security protocols. Across the fleet, chaos erupted. Ship after ship reported critical malfunctions. Navigation systems went offline. Weapons systems powered down. Life support fluctuated. Communications became garbled. On the bridge of the Eternal Conquest the main view screen activated on its own. Commander Wilson's face appeared, his expression still remarkably calm. Admiral Tark, this is your only warning, Wilson said. What you're experiencing is a taste of human warfare. The devices attached to your ships contain advanced AI systems specifically designed to infiltrate and disable your technology. Tark's rage built as he watched his mighty fleet being crippled not by weapons, but by technology he couldn't even understand. We studied your ship systems while you were approaching, Wilson continued. Your technology is impressive but predictable. You've had no real competition for thousands of years, so you've had no reason to develop proper security measures. Impossible, Tark shouted. No primitive species could understand our technology so quickly. Wilson smiled slightly. That's your fundamental mistake, Admiral. You assume that because we haven't expanded beyond our system, we must be primitive. The truth is, we've been advancing our technology in different directions than you have. We focused inward rather than outward. Around the Eternal Conquest Dominion ships began drifting out of formation as their systems failed. 3 cruisers collided, their navigation completely compromised. Sir, we've lost contact with 30% of the fleet, reported the communications officer. The affected ships are completely unresponsive. On the screen, Wilson continued. We could destroy your entire fleet right now, Admiral. But that's not our goal. We don't want conquest. We want you to understand what you're facing. Tark's mandibles clicked in frustration. What have you done to my ships? We've temporarily disabled them, Wilson explained. In exactly 1 hour, your systems will reset. You'll regain enough control to leave our system. I suggest you use that opportunity wisely." The screen went dark as the transmission ended. Lieutenant Mox approached Tark, his expression grim. "Sir, we should consider withdrawal when systems are restored. These humans, they fight unlike any species we've encountered." Tark stared at the view screen, watching his mighty fleet drift helplessly above Earth. For the first time in his 300 years of military service, Admiral Tark felt something unfamiliar. Fear. Admiral Tark paced the bridge of the asterisk Eternal Conquest asterisk as systems gradually came back online. His 4 eyes narrowed with rage and humiliation. No species had ever dared to attack the Dominion fleet so boldly or so effectively. "Status report," he demanded. "Main systems restored at 60% capacity, Admiral," replied the chief engineer. "Weapons are functional, but at reduced power. Navigation is online. Communications with the fleet are partially restored. And the rest of our ships, 73 vessels report similar status. 42 remain completely disabled. 23 are missing. Missing." Tark's mandibles clicked in alarm. "Explain." "They no longer appear on our sensors, Admiral. They've either been destroyed or..." The officer hesitated. "Or what?" "Or they've been captured." Tark slammed his armored fist against the command console. This was impossible. Inconceivable. The Dominion had conquered 1,000 worlds without ever losing a single capital ship. "Prepare a second attack," Tark ordered. "Target multiple human cities simultaneously. We'll show them the cost of defiance." "Sir," Lieutenant Mox interrupted cautiously, "perhaps we should reassess our..." "We will not retreat from primitives," Tark roared. The tactical display suddenly lit up with new alerts. "Admiral, multiple spacecraft launching from Earth," called the sensor officer. "Hundreds of them. No, thousands." The display showed swarms of small craft rising from the planet's surface. Unlike the previously deployed devices, these were clearly warships, sleek, fast, and armed. "Battle formations," Tark commanded. "All functional ships, prepare to engage." But the human vessels didn't attack directly. Instead, they spread out in a complex pattern, surrounding the Dominion fleet while maintaining distance. "Sir, they're staying outside our weapons range," reported the tactical officer. "Then we'll move closer," Tark snarled. As the Dominion ships began to advance, the human vessels executed a perfectly coordinated maneuver, creating a spherical formation with precisely calculated gaffes. "What are they doing?" Tark wondered aloud. His question was answered when the human ships activated powerful energy fields between them, forming a massive containment net around the Dominion fleet. "They're trapping us," Lieutenant Mox realized. "It's a cage." The communications console chimed. "Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from Earth." The screen showed a new human, an older male with dark skin and a completely shaved head. He wore a uniform decorated with symbols of rank. "I am General Robert Jackson of Earth Defense Force," he stated. "Your fleet is now contained within our defensive grid. Any attempt to break through will trigger automated countermeasures." Tark bristled with fury. "You dare to threaten the Dominion? We will reduce your world to ash." "You misunderstand, Admiral," Jackson replied calmly. "This isn't a threat. It's a demonstration. We could have destroyed your ships when we disabled them. Instead, we're showing you something the Dominion has never seen before: restraint." "The arrogance," Tark hissed. "Not arrogance. Experience," Jackson corrected. "Humans learned long ago that total war leads only to total destruction. We develop technologies not just to win conflicts, but to end them with minimal loss of life, even enemy lives." On a secondary screen, Lieutenant Mox noticed something alarming. "Sir, scans detect human soldiers aboard our disabled vessels. They've captured 23 of our warships." This news sent shockwaves through the bridge. Boarding actions against Dominion ships were suicidal. Their internal defense systems would kill any invader instantly. How? Tark demanded. Unknown, sir. Our internal defenses appear to have been completely neutralized. General Jackson continued, seemingly aware of this revelation. Your internal defense systems rely on recognizing foreign biological signatures. We developed specialized suits that mask our biosignatures completely. Your ships didn't even know we were aboard until we controlled their central computers. Tark's confidence crumbled further with each passing moment. These humans didn't fight like any species the Dominion had encountered in 10,000 years of conquest. You have 1 hour to make your decision, Admiral, Jackson concluded. Withdraw your remaining forces and return to Dominion space, or we will be forced to demonstrate capabilities far beyond what you've seen so far. The transmission ended, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. Lieutenant Mox approached Tark quietly. Sir, I believe we should consider their offer. For the first time in his career, Admiral Tark found himself considering retreat. Admiral Tark sat alone in his private chamber aboard the Eternal Conquest *. The mighty Dominion warship, once the pride of the Imperial fleet, now drifted in space, surrounded by human containment fields. His 4 eyes stared blankly at the tactical displays showing his trapped forces. A soft chime announced a visitor. Lieutenant Mox entered cautiously, carrying a data tablet. Speak, Tark commanded, not looking up. Sir, we've completed analysis of human military capabilities based on observed technology, Mox reported. The results are concerning. Show me. Mox activated the tablet. Holographic displays filled the room with technical readouts. Their containment field technology exceeds our most advanced research by several centuries, Mox explained. The AI systems they deployed against our ships demonstrate computing capabilities we thought theoretically impossible. Tark waved his armored hand dismissively. They're bluffing, exaggerating their true power. Sir, with respect, the evidence suggests otherwise. Mox changed the display to show captured footage from Dominion ships that had fallen to human boarding parties. The images showed human soldiers moving through ship corridors wearing strange suits that seemed to bend light around them, making them nearly invisible. Their stealth technology alone would revolutionize warfare across the Empire, Mox continued. But it's their approach that truly distinguishes them. They disabled our fleet without destroying a single ship. They captured 23 of our vessels without killing a single crew member. Weakness, Tark growled. Their mercy will be their downfall. Or wisdom, Mox countered carefully. Sir, I've studied thousands of conquest operations. In all cases, species fight hardest when facing extinction. The humans aren't threatening extinction. They're offering an alternative. The communications console chimed before Tark could respond. Admiral, the humans request your presence for direct negotiations, reported the bridge officer through the speaker. They're sending a shuttle to dock with our ship. Tark's mandibles clicked in surprise. They dare to come here, after attacking us. They say only 4 representatives will board, all unarmed, the officer explained. They guarantee safe passage for their delegation. As if they're in position to offer guarantees, Tark snarled. But after a moment's consideration, he nodded. Allow it. Prepare the command conference room, and double the guard. 30 minutes later, Tark sat at the head of the conference table, surrounded by his senior officers. The door slid open to reveal 4 humans. Commander Wilson, Professor Reeves, General Jackson, and a 4th human Tark hadn't seen before, an older male with pale skin and a short white beard. Admiral Tark, Wilson greeted formally. Thank you for agreeing to this meeting. Tark didn't bother with pleasantries. State your purpose. The 4th human stepped forward. I am Dr. Alan Morris, historian of human warfare. I'm here to help you understand what you're facing. I face primitives who got lucky, Tark replied coldly. Dr. Morris smiled slightly. Is that what you believe? That this was luck? He placed a small device on the table. It projected a holographic display of Earth, then zoomed out to show the solar system. Humans have been confined to this system not by technological limitations, but by choice, Morris explained. While other species expanded outward, consuming resources across hundreds of worlds, we turned our innovation inward. The display showed human cities, then underground complexes, then vast underwater habitats. We mastered efficiency. We learned to live within our means, Morris continued. And most importantly, we studied the stars. For 300 years, we've observed the Dominion. We've watched how you conquer, how you fight. We know your tactics, your technology, your weaknesses. Tark's eyes narrowed. Impossible. You would have been detected. By what? Professor Reeves asked. Your detection systems look for energy signatures you understand. Our observation technology doesn't use any energy source your sensors recognize. General Jackson leaned forward. Admiral, you need to understand something fundamental. For 10,000 years, your empire has fought conventional wars against conventional enemies. Your tactics are refined but predictable. We, however, Commander Wilson added, have spent our entire history fighting ourselves. Humans against humans, each side constantly adapting, evolving tactics, developing new technologies specifically designed to overcome the other's advantages. Dr. Morris nodded. When species fight only external enemies, they develop specific counters to known threats. When a species fights itself, it must prepare for everything. For the first time, Admiral Tark felt a deep, unsettling realization. The humans weren't just another species to conquer. They were something the Dominion had never encountered before. They were ready for this. The Dominion War Council convened an emergency session aboard the damaged flagship Asterisk, Eternal Conquest Asterisk. Admiral Tark stood before his senior officers, his gray face darkened with stress. Above them, holographic displays showed the current situation. Nearly half the invasion fleet disabled or captured, the remainder surrounded by human containment fields. We must accept reality, said Fleet Commander Voss, the highest-ranking officer after Tark. This mission has failed. We need to negotiate withdrawal terms while we still can. Negotiate with primitives. Captain Mers objected. The Dominion does not negotiate with lesser species. Lieutenant Mox activated a tactical display. These primitives have neutralized the most powerful fleet in Dominion history without destroying a single ship. Their technology exceeds our understanding in multiple areas. Angry murmurs filled the room as the officers argued. Admiral Tark silenced them with a sharp gesture. The humans have given us 6 hours to begin withdrawal, Tark said quietly. After that, they will demonstrate what they call their actual military capabilities. They're bluffing, Captain Mers insisted. What we've seen must be their best weapons. Mox shook his head. Intelligence analysis suggests otherwise. Their containment field technology alone proves they possess energy manipulation capabilities far beyond our own. And the disabled ships report their human boarders used weapons we've never encountered. What kind of weapons? Fleet Commander Voss asked. Devices that temporarily neutralize nervous systems without causing permanent damage. Hand weapons that could cut through our strongest armor, but apparently can be calibrated to different power levels. And most concerning, Mox paused, checking his data tablet. Continue, Tark ordered. Most concerning were reports of small drones that could pass through solid matter. They simply phased through bulkheads and security barriers. A heavy silence fell over the council chamber. Phase technology is theoretical, Captain Mers said finally. No species has successfully developed it. Until now, Mox replied simply. Admiral Tark stared at the tactical display. The mighty Dominion fleet, reduced to trapped prey in less than a day. His 4 eyes blinked slowly as he made his decision. We will withdraw, he announced. Prepare all functional ships for immediate departure once the humans open their containment field. No one objected. On Earth, Commander Wilson stood in the Global Defense Command Center, watching the Dominion fleet on massive screens. General Jackson and Professor Reeves stood beside him. They're preparing to leave. Wilson observed as Dominion ships adjusted their positions. "Good," Jackson replied. Peaceful resolution was always the preferred outcome. A young officer approached with a datapad. "Sir, the captured Dominion vessels have been fully analyzed. Their technology is impressive but lacks innovation. They've been using the same basic systems for thousands of years, with only incremental improvements." Professor Reeves nodded thoughtfully. "That confirms our theories. Without meaningful competition, they had no reason to truly innovate." Incoming transmission from the Dominion flagship, called the communications officer. Admiral Tark's face appeared on the main screen. His expression was stiff, his pride clearly wounded. "Humans," he began formally. "The Dominion fleet will withdraw from your system as requested. We acknowledge your unexpected capabilities." "Thank you, Admiral," Wilson responded evenly. "We'll open a corridor in the containment field. Safe passage is guaranteed if you maintain your current course out of the system." Tark's mandibles clicked in what might have been frustration or reluctant respect. "The Dominion has existed for 10,000 years. We have conquered 1,000 worlds. Yet never have we encountered a species like yours. We hope this experience leads to better understanding between our civilizations," Professor Reeves said, stepping forward. "Peaceful contact would benefit both our peoples. The Dominion Senate will need to reconsider its expansion policies." Tark admitted reluctantly. "Your world will be marked as restricted territory." On the tactical displays, the human containment field shifted, creating a clear exit path. One by one, the damaged Dominion warships began moving toward it. "What about our captured vessels?" Tark asked. "They will be returned to the edge of your territory within 30 days, General Jackson replied. "With their crews unarmed." Tark's eyes widened slightly. "You would return warships capable of destroying entire planets?" Commander Wilson smiled slightly. "Admiral, if we wanted to destroy planets, we wouldn't need your ships to do it. This isn't about acquiring your technology. It's about sending a message." As the Dominion fleet limped away from Earth, Admiral Tark finally understood that message completely. The humans hadn't just defeated them. They had shown them mercy. And somehow, that was more terrifying than any weapon could ever be. 6 months after the failed invasion, Admiral Tark stood before the Grand Senate of the Galactic Dominion. The massive chamber, carved from a single asteroid, held representatives from 800 subject worlds. They watched in shocked silence as Tark finished his report about Earth. "And so," Tark concluded, "I recommend formal recognition of human independence and establishment of restricted space around their solar system. Any attempt to conquer them would result in catastrophic losses." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Supreme Chancellor Drax, leader of the Dominion for over 2 centuries, leaned forward on his elevated platform. "In 10,000 years, Drax said, his voice echoing, "no species has ever repelled a full Dominion invasion force. You suggest we simply acknowledge defeat." "I suggest we acknowledge reality," Tark replied firmly. "The humans demonstrated only a fraction of their military capability. They disabled half our fleet without destroying a single ship or taking a single life." The chamber erupted in angry shouts. Conquest was the foundation of Dominion culture. Admitting defeat was unthinkable. "Silence," Chancellor Drax commanded, and the room quieted immediately. "Continue, Admiral." "As ordered, we've analyzed all data from the encounter," Tark said. "The humans possess technology centuries beyond our understanding in multiple fields. But more importantly, they think differently about warfare." Tark activated a holographic display showing footage from the confrontation. "While we focus on overwhelming force, they focus on controlled response. While we seek to destroy, they seek to disable. While we conquer, they contain." Tark paused. "They could have destroyed our entire fleet, but chose not to. That is not weakness. That is a kind of strength we have never encountered." The doors at the far end of the chamber suddenly opened. A group of humans entered, led by Commander Wilson. The Senate guards immediately moved to intercept them. "Stand down," Chancellor Drax ordered, his four eyes widening in surprise. "How did they get here?" "This chamber is in the heart of Dominion space." Admiral Tark felt a chill run through his body. "That is precisely my point, Chancellor. Their capabilities exceed our understanding." Commander Wilson approached the central speaking platform, accompanied by Professor Reeves and two humans Tark didn't recognize. They seemed completely unconcerned about being in the heart of their enemy's territory. "Greetings, Chancellor Drax," Wilson said calmly. "We apologize for the unconventional arrival, but we felt direct communication would be valuable at this time." "How did you reach this chamber?" Drax demanded. "It's 30,000 light-years from your world." Professor Reeves smiled slightly. "We've been studying faster-than-light travel differently than the Dominion. Your ships tear through space. Ours step between the folds." One of the unknown humans stepped forward. "I am President Thomas Reed, elected leader of Earth's United Nations. We come with a proposal." The Senate chamber remained deadly silent as Reed continued. "Humanity has no interest in conquest or in dismantling your empire. We seek only to maintain our independence and to establish peaceful relations with all species." He gestured to the woman beside him. "This is Ambassador Jane Dixon. If you agree, she will remain here as Earth's representative to begin diplomatic talks." Chancellor Drax's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of extreme agitation. "You invade our most secure location and speak of peace. We demonstrated our capabilities precisely to avoid future conflict," Ambassador Dixon explained. "If we had simply claimed to possess advanced technology, would you have believed us without proof?" Admiral Tark stepped forward. "Chancellor, I believe their offer is genuine. The humans could have destroyed our invasion fleet. Instead, they returned our captured vessels with their crews unharmed. They seek recognition, not dominance." For several minutes, Chancellor Drax considered in silence. 10,000 years of Dominion history contain no precedent for this situation. Finally, he spoke. "We will establish diplomatic relations with Earth," he declared. "A formal treaty recognizing human sovereignty will be drafted." As the Senate erupted in shocked discussion, Commander Wilson approached Admiral Tark quietly. "You understand now, don't you?" Wilson asked. Tark nodded slowly. "You warned us to run not because you wanted to fight, but because you understand what war truly costs. Your history of internal conflict taught you to value peace." "Exactly," Wilson replied. "Humans don't fight to conquer. We fight to end fighting. And if necessary, we'll bring that lesson to the stars." For the first time in the Dominion's long history, a new word entered their diplomatic vocabulary: coexistence.